The cash hit my pillow before I even knew what was happening. $300 in crumpled bills that I'd never touched, never wanted, never stole. My bedroom door slammed against the wall, and there stood Dad with murder in his eyes. Mom right behind him, wearing that blank expression she always had when he was about to explode. And behind them both, my little sister Tessa, crying those perfect crocodile tears that made Academy Award winners look like amateurs. "She took it from your wallet," Tessa sobbed, pointing at me like I was some criminal. "I saw her, Dad, I swear." I shot up from my bed, heart hammering against my ribs. "What? I didn't—" But Dad was already across the room, ripping my pillow away, finding exactly what Tessa had planted there. The money, the evidence, the lie that would destroy everything. Welcome back to Formidable Revenge Channel, and I love you as you hit that subscribe button. If you're already hooked, smash that like button, because this story is about to get darker than you can imagine. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and buckle up. "You disgrace," Dad hissed, his face inches from mine. "You think we're stupid? You think we haven't noticed things going missing?" "I didn't touch it," my voice cracked. "She planted it. She's setting me up." Tessa's sobs grew louder, more dramatic. "I'm scared of her, Dad. What if she hurts me?" That sentence was the knife that twisted in my gut. I'd never laid a hand on her, never even raised my voice at her. But in that moment, watching her performance, I realized something terrifying. My own sister wanted me erased, not just in trouble, gone. Mom finally spoke, her voice flat and robotic. "Pack your things, Valerie." "Mom, please." "Pack your things." Dad was already grabbing a trash bag from under my desk, throwing my clothes into it like I was garbage. No trial, no questions, no second chances, just Tessa's tears and their blind belief in the golden child who could do no wrong. "You're out," Dad said, shoving the bag into my arms. "You don't come back until you're ready to admit what you did and apologize to your sister." My feet were bare. I was wearing sweatpants and a ratty t-shirt. It was October in Chicago, and the night air would cut like razors. "I didn't do anything," I whispered. Tessa leaned close as they dragged me past her, her voice so low only I could hear. "I told you they'd believe me." The front door opened. Cold air slapped my face, and then I was outside. 15 years old, holding a trash bag of my life, while my family locked me out of my own home. You need to understand how I got here, not because it excuses what they did, but because it explains why Tessa's lies landed so perfectly. I'd been the problem child since I could remember. Not because I was bad, but because Dad decided respect was a one-way street. You gave it to him without question, or you got the belt, sometimes the actual belt. Mom just echoed whatever he said, like she'd surrendered her own thoughts years ago. Then there was Tessa, 2 years younger and absolutely flawless in their eyes. She could burn down the kitchen making popcorn, actually happened twice, and Dad would call it learning through experience. I forgot to take out the trash once, and suddenly I was irresponsible, heading nowhere, a waste of potential. Every single thing. When she got an A, it was because she was brilliant and hardworking. When I got an A, it was luck. When she broke Mom's favorite vase, it was an accident. When I accidentally knocked over a lamp, I was careless and destructive. The rules were different for her. They always had been. I remember the science fair incident in 8th grade. I'd spent 3 weeks building a volcano that actually worked, complete with a chemical reaction I'd researched myself. Tessa copied my entire project the night before her own fair. Same hypothesis, same materials, same presentation board layout. Her teacher called home, suspicious. You know what happened? Dad grounded me for making her cheat by leaving my project where she could see it. Tessa cried. Mom consoled her. I ate dinner in my room for a week. That was my life. Walking on eggshells, watching everything I said and did get twisted into evidence that I was the broken one. At school, I kept my head down, made decent grades, babysat for Mrs. Fletcher next door to save money. I had $40 in my wallet from mowing lawns all summer. $40 that Tessa knew about. She'd been planning this. I realized it too late, sitting on that porch with my trash bag, shivering in the October cold. She'd been setting the stage for weeks. Little comments about money going missing, suggestions that I was acting weird, building the narrative so when she finally planted that cash, everyone would just nod and say, "That makes sense." I wasn't just the scapegoat, I was the sacrifice she needed to secure her throne. And the worst part? I'd seen the look in her eyes when they dragged me to the door. Not guilt. Not even satisfaction. Just cold calculation. Like she was checking off a box on some twisted to-do list. Destroy Valerie? Done. I grabbed my shoes before Dad could slam the door completely shut. At least I had those. At least I had something. But as I walked down our quiet suburban street, bare feet finally pushing into worn sneakers, I knew the truth. I had nothing. No family. No home. No one who believed me. Harper's house was 4 blocks away, and I walked there like a ghost, clutching my trash bag and trying not to cry. She'd been my best friend since 6th grade, the only person at Lincoln High who actually knew me. When she opened the door and saw me standing there in sweatpants with a garbage bag, her face crumpled. "Val, what happened?" I told her everything. The money, Tessa's performance, the door slamming in my face. She pulled me inside, gave me pizza and a blanket, didn't ask stupid questions. For one night, I felt almost human. Her mom was different. Next morning, she cornered me in the kitchen with that look adults get when they're about to deliver bad news gently. "Valerie, honey, you can stay 2 more nights. But after that, you need to figure something out. We just can't afford another mouth to feed." 2 nights became 0 when Harper's mom drove me to school early on day 3 and told me not to come back. I shoved my trash bag into my locker and pretended I had somewhere else to go. I didn't. Couch surfing started immediately. A classmate let me crash one night. Another girl's basement for 2 nights. But word spread fast. Nobody wanted to deal with the drama of my situation. By week's end, I was out of options and sleeping behind the Easy Mart gas station, wedged into a corner near the dumpsters where the security lights didn't reach. The library became my refuge during the day. I'd hide in the back stacks until closing, then slip out before security caught me. One night, I didn't move fast enough. Flashlight beam hit my face like a spotlight. "You can't sleep here, kid." I tried the school bathroom next, locking myself in a stall with my bag. Someone found me. Word spread faster. By Monday, everyone knew Valerie Hayes was homeless. Hunger was worse than cold. My $40 evaporated on cheap burgers and vending machine snacks. After that, I drank from water fountains and skipped meals. My stomach growled so loud in class that kids turned around to stare. One girl moved her backpack away when I sat down. "Sorry," she said. "Not sorry at all. Don't want my stuff stolen." The whole row laughed. Tessa made sure everyone knew her version. How I'd stolen from Dad, how they'd had to throw me out for everyone's safety, how I was probably on drugs. She played the victim so convincingly that teachers started watching me differently, like I might snap any second. Tyler Crawford, basketball star and complete tool, shoulder-checked me in the hallway. "Watch your hands, thief." I shoved him back on instinct. A teacher broke it up, but I got the warning. "One more incident, Valerie, and you're suspended." Just me, not him. Tessa caught my eye across the cafeteria that day, gave me a tiny smile, then went back to her friends like she hadn't just destroyed my entire life. She was enjoying this, every single second. Dad found me on week 2. I don't know how. Maybe Tessa told him. Maybe he'd been driving around looking. I was sitting on a bench near Washington Park, hoodie pulled tight, when his headlights pinned me like a deer. He got out fast, door slamming. "Get in the car!" I stayed frozen on that bench, every muscle locked. Just seeing him made my stomach twist into knots. "Now, Valerie." "Not unless you admit Tessa lied." His face went purple. "Don't you dare talk about your sister like that. She's been through hell because of you." "Through hell?" I stood up, shaking. "She framed me. She planted that money, and you just believed her." He stepped closer, finger jabbing the air between us. "You're coming home. You're going to apologize. Or I'll call the police and tell them you've been stealing from stores, panhandling on street corners. You understand me?" My hands gripped my backpack straps so hard my knuckles went white. "I'm not coming home to be treated like trash again. Call whoever you want. I didn't do anything wrong." For a second, I thought he'd actually hit me. His fists clenched, face burning red. Then he spun around, got back in his car, and drove off, leaving me shaking in the cold. That's when it really hit me. He didn't want the truth. He wanted control. And admitting he was wrong would mean losing that control. Next day, I went to the school counselor. Miss Peterson had always seemed nice, reasonable. I sat in her office and laid it all out. The frame job, Tessa's confession to Harper, my parents kicking me out. She listened with that practiced neutral expression counselors have. When I finished, she sighed. "Valerie, I understand you're under tremendous stress, but accusing your sister without proof isn't going to help. Your parents already spoke with us. They're very concerned about your behavior." My behavior? The word felt like acid in my mouth. They said I was unstable, didn't they? Her silence was answer enough. "I'm telling the truth," I said, voice cracking. "Tessa admitted it to Harper. She bragged about it." "Then perhaps Harper can come in and—" "She won't. Nobody will. Everyone's too scared to cross Tessa." Miss Peterson folded her hands on her desk. "The best thing you can do is focus on your schoolwork. Show your family through your actions that you're trustworthy." Translation: shut up and deal with it. I tried my Aunt Rachel next, calling from a payphone outside the 7-Eleven. She started off warm, then went cold the second I explained what happened. "Val, sweetie, I can't get involved in this. Your parents are doing what they think is best. Maybe if you just apologized—" I hung up before she could finish. My own aunt didn't want to touch this mess. That night, I sat behind the gas station again, back against the brick wall, sipping water I'd filled from the bathroom sink. A neon sign buzzed overhead, casting everything in sickly blue light. Cars came and went. Nobody saw me. Then I heard her voice. "Wow, didn't think you'd last this long out here?" I looked up, and there she was, Tessa holding a Pepsi, casual as anything, like she was just stopping by to chat. Pure rage flooded through me. "Why are you here?" She shrugged, smirking. "Curious, I guess." "Wanted to see how long before you crawled back." My fists clenched so hard my nails dug into my palms. "Why are you doing this to me?" Tessa took a slow sip of her Pepsi, studying me like I was some interesting insect. "You think you had it rough? Try being me. Mom and Dad never let me slip. Not once. Every grade, every chore, every little thing was compared to you. Don't be like your sister." That's all I ever heard. I stared at her, couldn't process what she was saying. "So you destroyed my life because you felt pressured?" "I didn't destroy anything." Her voice dropped, went cold. "I just gave them proof of what they already believed. That you're the screw-up. And honestly, it was easy. Everyone already thought it. I just confirmed it." The casual cruelty in her tone made my skin crawl. This wasn't my little sister anymore. This was someone else entirely. "You're sick," I whispered. Her smile widened. "What's really sick is how simple it was. Plant some cash, cry a little, point the finger. Done. And now I don't have to be perfect anymore. I don't have to prove anything. All I have to do is not mess up like you, and that's incredibly easy." I wanted to scream, wanted to grab her and shake her until she understood what she'd done, but I just sat there, frozen, while she leaned in closer. "And if you keep running your mouth about me," she said quietly, "if you keep pushing this story that I framed you, I'll make up something even worse. And then you won't just be homeless, Val. You'll be in juvie, or a psych ward. Your choice." She said it so calmly, so confidently, that I knew she meant it. She was already planning her next move, her next lie. This wasn't the end of the game for her. This was just the beginning. Subscribe to Formidable Revenge Channel right now if you need to see this girl get what she deserves. Please comment below on what you'd do in my situation. Tessa walked away like she hadn't just threatened to destroy what little I had left. And as I sat there in the glow of that gas station sign, something inside me shifted. She wasn't just trying to make me look bad. She wanted me completely erased, forgotten, like I'd never existed. By week 3, I'd hit bottom, money gone, phone dead. Hadn't eaten a real meal in 2 days. I carried my trash bag everywhere, school, bus stops, parking lots. It wasn't even closed anymore. Just open, my life on display for everyone to see. One night, I tried hiding in the school library again, deeper in the stacks this time. Around midnight, security's flashlight found me anyway. "I already warned you. Try this again, and I'm reporting you. Then you'll be suspended." It started raining right after he kicked me out. I walked for miles, rain soaking through my hoodie, shoes squishing with every step. My trash bag tore and half my clothes spilled onto the sidewalk. I gathered them anyway, held the torn bag closed with both hands. Everything smelled like mildew and defeat. I ended up under the awning of a closed laundromat, shivering, stomach cramping with hunger, the kind that makes you dizzy. That was my breaking point. Sitting there in the rain, I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe I'll just disappear out here and nobody will notice. That's when Harper found me. Harper came running through the rain with an umbrella, hair plastered to her forehead. out of breath like she'd been searching for hours. "Val, why didn't you answer your phone? I've been looking everywhere." "Phone's dead," I muttered. Truth was, I hadn't had a charger in weeks. She crouched next to me, ignoring the puddles soaking her jeans, and pressed a crumpled envelope into my hands. "Here, take it." I frowned at her. "What is this?" "Just open it." Inside was about $60 in small bills. My throat closed up. "Harper, I can't." "You can," she cut me off. "It's my allowance. I don't need it. You do." I couldn't even speak, just nodded, clutching that money like it was the most precious thing in the world. She glanced around, then lowered her voice. "There's something else. Tessa bragged at Kelsey's party last weekend. I heard her. She told people she planted the money, that she set you up on purpose." My head snapped toward her. "She admitted it? Out loud?" "Yeah, but nobody believed her. They thought she was joking, showing off. Some people even said if it was true, you probably deserved it anyway. That hit me harder than anything else. Deserved it. That's what people thought of me." I stood up, started pacing under the awning. "If I can get someone to back me up, to confirm what she said—" "You can't," Harper said quietly. "She's too popular. Nobody wants to cross her. They all think you're already a lost cause." The silence between us said everything. It wasn't just my parents. Everyone had written me off. The whole world had decided I was the villain in Tessa's story, and nothing I said would change that. That night, after cleaning up in a gas station bathroom, I took my damp trash bag and started walking. I wasn't nervous, wasn't scared. I was just done. Done running, done hiding, done letting Tessa control the narrative. When I turned onto our street, my chest tightened. The house looked exactly the same. White siding, flower pots on the porch, the place I'd grown up. But it wasn't mine anymore. Maybe it never had been. I stood there for a long time, rain dripping off my hood before walking up the driveway. I was going to walk through that door and make them hear me, whether they wanted to or not. My fist hit the door 3 times, hard enough to sting my knuckles. Footsteps. The door creaked open. Tessa stood there like she'd been waiting. Her eyebrows rose, twisted into that familiar sneer. "Well, look who crawled back." I shoved past her before she could stop me, my wet shoes squeaking on the hardwood. "I'm not here to stay. I'm here to talk." Mom's voice echoed from the living room. "Valerie?" She appeared a second later, dish towel in hand. Dad followed, arms crossed, face already hardening. "Out!" "Now," he said. "No." I stood my ground, chest heaving. "You're going to hear me this time. You believed her lies long enough. Tonight, you hear mine." Dad took a step forward, looming. "Watch your tone. You don't get to barge into this house." "And watch my tone?" I shot back, louder than I meant to. "You threw me out with a trash bag because Tessa cried and waved some bills around. You didn't even ask for my side, not once." "Because we know you," Dad said sharply. "You've always been reckless, Valerie. Always jealous of your sister." "Jealous?" Fire built in my chest. "Let's talk about jealous." "Remember when she copied my science project word for word? Teacher called home and you punished me for making her cheat. She cried, you believed her. Same story every time. She's the angel, I'm the screw-up. Doesn't matter what actually happened." Dad's jaw clenched. For a split second, I saw something flicker in his eyes. Recognition. He knew I was right. He knew it. But instead of admitting it, he doubled down. "Don't you stand here and disgrace this family. You've done nothing but drag this house down since you were a kid." He stepped closer, aftershave and anger radiating off him. "You want me to admit we favored her? Fine, we did. But she earned it. She keeps her grades up, helps your mother, stays out of trouble. You can't even keep a roof over your head." The words hit harder than a fist. My hands curled into fists. But I forced myself to stay standing. "I can't keep a roof because you threw me out, because she framed me and you believed her without a second thought." Behind him, Tessa leaned against the wall, sipping water like she was watching TV. That smirk on her face. I turned toward her. "Go ahead, swear right now you didn't plant that money. Look me in the eye and swear it." She tilted her head, lips twitching like she was about to laugh. "Sure, I swear," she said, voice dripping with sarcasm. "You hear that?" I pointed at her, voice breaking. "You can't even take her seriously. She's lying to your faces and you're still falling for it." Dad's face went red, hands balling into fists. Then suddenly he grabbed a glass from the side table and hurled it at me. His aim was off. It exploded against the wall right next to my head. Shards rained down, slicing my arm and cheek. Blood dripped, warm and sticky. "Get out before I call the cops and tell them you broke in," he said, voice shaking with rage. "You want to keep making scenes? Fine. You can do it from a jail cell." I steadied myself, breath ragged, chest hammering, but I wouldn't cry, wouldn't give them that satisfaction. "You've made your choice," I said quietly. "You picked her. You always pick her. One day you're going to see her for what she really is, and when that happens, don't come looking for me." Silence fell except for Tessa's quiet laugh. "Wow," she said, shaking her head. "Drama much?" I grabbed my bag and turned toward the door. Every step felt heavy, like dragging chains, but I didn't stop. At the threshold, I turned one last time. "You think I'm the problem? Fine. But when the truth blows up in your faces, remember this moment. Remember, I warned you." I wrenched the door open, stepped into the cold darkness, slammed it behind me. The night air hit my face, mixing with the sting of cuts on my arm. I walked fast, jaw tight, trying to put distance between me and that house. Got halfway down the block when I heard footsteps behind me. Quick, irregular, like someone jogging to catch up. "Wait up, sis." I spun around, heart pounding. Tessa, jogging after me, calm as ever, face glowing under the streetlights, smiling like this was all a game. As Tessa stepped off the porch, I thought I heard the screen door creak behind her, but I was too focused on her smug face to care. My stomach flipped. "What do you want now?" I demanded, voice sharper than I intended. She slowed to a walk, hands slipping into her hoodie pocket. Posture relaxed like she was out for an evening stroll. "Relax. I just wanted to see how far you'd actually take this little rebellion." I glared at her, fists clenching so hard my arms ached from the cuts. "Farther than you think. I'm done letting you run the show." Her smile grew wider, teeth catching the streetlight glow. "You still don't get it, do you? Nobody's ever going to believe you. You can scream, cry, bleed all over the sidewalk. It won't matter. To them, you'll always be the screw-up, and I'll always be the one they're proud of." "Proud?" I sneered, shaking my head. "You destroyed me." "Destroyed you?" she repeated, tilting her head like I'd said something funny. Then her voice dropped. Crueler. "I didn't destroy you. I just gave them proof of what they already believed. And that was the smartest thing I ever did." My stomach turned. Chest tightened. "Say it again," I said, stepping closer. She leaned in, voice dropping to a whisper like she wanted to savor every word. "I framed you. I planted the money. And I'd do it again. Watching you beg while I win. That's the best part." The words sliced through me like a blade. I could hear blood rushing in my ears, feel every drop trickling down my arm where the glass shards had cut me earlier. Then another voice pierced the silence. "Excuse me?" We both froze. Mom stood at the edge of the porch, arms crossed tight across her chest. She must have followed Tessa out without us noticing. For once, her eyes weren't filled with anger toward me. They were locked on Tessa. "What did you just say?" Mom's voice was steady, but there was steel underneath. Tessa stiffened, the smirk sliding off her face instantly. "Mom, It was nothing. She's twisting. Don't lie to me." Mom walked down onto the sidewalk, voice shaking but expression dead serious. "I heard you. You admitted it. You said you planted the money." For the first time in weeks, something cracked open inside me, a sliver of hope. My chest tightened, words tumbling out before I could stop them. "You heard her, Mom. You finally heard her." If you're on the edge of your seat right now, hit that subscribe button for Formidable Revenge Channel. Drop a comment with your reaction. I need to know you're feeling this. Tessa's mouth opened, then closed. No excuses, no fake tears, no quick spin on the story. She was rattled. The screen door banged and Dad stormed onto the porch, voice carrying across the yard. "What's going on out here?" Mom turned to him, hands shaking. "She admitted it, Richard. She just admitted she framed Valerie." Dad blinked, color draining from his face. His steps slowed as he reached the bottom of the porch, like he wasn't sure he wanted to hear the answer. He looked at Tessa, jaw set. "Is that true?" Tessa's lip twitched. She looked between Mom, Dad, and me, panic flashing through her eyes. Her fingers fidgeted inside her hoodie pocket, clawing at the fabric. She opened her mouth like she'd deny it again, but her face twisted and words came out like venom. So what if I did? Silence crashed over the yard like a wave. Mom staggered backward, hand flying to her mouth. Oh my God! Dad's jaw locked, fists clenching, but this time at Tessa instead of me. His face flushed dark red, eyes turning to steel like he was looking at a stranger. You ruined your sister's life, Mom whispered, voice breaking. Tears streamed down her face, body shaking like she'd been punched in the gut. You threw me out, I said, throat raw. You believed her over me. You tossed me onto the street with nothing because she cried and pointed her finger. Now you hear the truth, and it's too late. Tessa crossed her arms, trying to hide the cracks in her voice with fake confidence. Don't act like you're some victim. You were always the mistake. I just made sure everyone else finally saw it. Her words hit like glass shards embedding deeper. I clenched my fists tighter, not to hit her, but to keep from collapsing. The silence stretched. Mom sobbed openly. Dad just stared, gutted, like the ground had been ripped out from under him, and I stood there in the street, bleeding and exhausted, but finally vindicated. Now they knew, but it didn't erase the fact they'd chosen her over me when it mattered most. I stepped forward, wiping blood from my arm. You don't just get to stand here acting shocked. You destroyed me. You threw me out with nothing. Let the whole neighborhood think I was a thief because it was easier to believe her fake tears than your own daughter. You don't fix that with a couple words. You're going to fix it the right way. Dad's head snapped toward me like he couldn't believe I was still talking. Watch your tone. No, I said firmly. You don't get to tell me how to talk anymore. You lost that when you threw me out. If you want me to even think about stepping back in that house, you're going to clear my name, publicly. Mom blinked through tears. Publicly? I nodded. Facebook, the church page, family group chat, I don't care where. You're going to tell everyone the truth. That I never stole, that you spoiled Tessa and let her lies destroy me. You're going to admit it where everyone can see. Otherwise, I'll do it myself. And trust me, I'll include everything, including how Dad threw glass at me tonight. Dad's face went scarlet. We don't air family business online. You already did when you threw me onto the street with a trash bag. I laughed bitterly. You let Tessa's story run wild at school, church, with neighbors. You were fine letting everyone whisper about me. Now you're going to be fine undoing it. Mom's crying intensified. She turned to Dad, voice breaking. Richard, she's right. We did this. We let it happen. She waited for him to respond like she always did, but he just stood there, silent, fists clenched. For the first time, his silence didn't protect her. It dragged her down with him. Mom's hands shook as she pulled out her phone. If you won't say it, Richard, then I will. Dad's glare burned through her like betrayal, but she didn't stop. Her fingers trembled over the screen. Tell me what to write, she asked me. Tessa's head jerked toward her. What? Mom, you can't. Quiet, Mom snapped, voice shrill. You did this. You brought us here. I stepped closer, heart racing, and dictated slowly. We need to apologize publicly. Our daughter, Valerie, was wrongly accused of stealing. The truth is, our daughter Tessa framed her, and we believed the lie. We spoiled her, protected her, and let her destroy Valerie's reputation. We failed as parents. Valerie deserves to be seen for who she really is, not the scapegoat we made her. Mom typed every word, hands trembling. Dad stood rigid, face like stone, but he didn't stop her. She hit post. Within minutes, her phone buzzed with notifications. Comments flooded in from relatives, church members, neighbors. We had no idea. I'm so sorry, Valerie. Takes courage to admit this. Dad's face went pale as more comments piled up. His iron control was crumbling. Tessa snapped. You just ruined my life. Everyone's going to hate me now. Dad rounded on her, voice low and dangerous. No, Tessa, you ruined your own life. Her face collapsed for the first time. No grin, no fake tears, just panic. I stood there, bleeding and drained, but lighter than I'd felt in weeks. You wanted me gone, Tessa. You wanted me erased. Now it's your mask that's gone. Everyone knows who you really are. She stared at me, voice shaky. You think they'll ever forgive you? You'll always be the one who caused drama. I stepped closer, gaze locked on hers. No, I'll be the one who survived it. You'll be the liar who got caught. Silence fell, broken only by Mom's muted sobs and the constant pinging of her phone. Dad looked 10 years older, and Tessa, she finally looked small. I slung my backpack over my shoulder and walked toward the porch. I'm taking back my bed, not because you're doing me a favor, because you owe me. You threw me out. Now you're going to feed me, give me a roof, and live with what you did. Nobody argued. Mom and Dad just stood there, hollow. They didn't try to stop me this time, not after the confession, not after the post went public, not after their control shattered. For once, nobody dared oppose me. Inside, the house felt strange, like entering someone else's home. But I wasn't a guest. Not anymore. I'd dragged the truth into the light. I'd taken back what they'd stolen. As I dropped my trash bag beside the stairs, I looked at them all standing there. Mom hollow-eyed, Dad's face hard, Tessa furious. You wanted a perfect daughter so badly, you turned me into the villain, I said quietly. Tonight you told the world the truth. Don't think that fixes anything, but at least now everyone knows what kind of family you really are. I walked upstairs, each step heavy but steady. For the first time in weeks, I'd sleep in a real bed. Not because they allowed it, because I demanded it. They'd thrown me away once, but I was the one who chose to come back, not for them, but for myself, to prove I wasn't disposable, to prove I was worth fighting for, even if I had to be the only one doing the fighting. The door to my room still had that dent where it hit the wall the night they kicked me out. I touched it briefly, then walked inside and closed the door behind me. I'd survived, and that was more than Tessa thought I could do. Outside my window, the neighborhood was quiet. The same houses, the same street, but everything had changed. Tomorrow, I'd walk back into Lincoln High with my head up. Let them all see the girl who refused to stay erased. Let Tessa face what she'd done without her perfect mask. Justice wasn't soft. It wasn't clean. It left scars on everyone. But it was mine. And for tonight, that was enough.